Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Thursday morning. Hope everyone's okay. Hope everyone is all right. Hope everyone's looking forward to the game that is in, I think it's just under 6 hours now until we play Hoffenheim in Europa League. Obviously, we're at 5:45 p.m. UK time. So wherever you're in the world, you'll have to do the math gymnastics to find out what it is your time. But in this video, we are going to talk about that game. We have some injury updates surrounding that. We have some good, we have some bad. We'll be talking about the press conference yesterday was quite damning at times surrounding our transfer activity. We'll be talking about, I guess, that whilst also having a doubling down on certain things. We'll be talking about the medical team or former parts of the medical team biting back against the club and against Ange, basically deflecting blame. So let's talk about it. Let's jump in. And yeah, obviously, game tonight. No signings imminent. Medical team throwing their toys out the pram because, they can do no wrong, apparently. So there's loads to talk about. Anyway, morning, Sonia, Dragon, Adi, Spurs, Adventurous. Bada, how are we all? Look, the game tonight. Let's quickly talk about that. Obviously, give you a bit of an update. Romero's back in training, but they reckon they're going to give him a week to 10 days. So I guess if anything happens tonight, he might have to play the weekend as a rush, but it'll probably be next week. I don't think he'll play against Elfsborg, maybe Brentford. Maybe on the 2nd February, might see him back. I mean, he might play against Elfsborg, depending on the situation. Obviously, I understand that. Mickey van der Ven, supposedly back in training next week. These are the things that I kind of predicted. I sort of said Mickey's back at the end of the month. Romero, something similar. Looks like that's going to be the case. Who else was there? Supposedly, a doggy's actually ahead of schedule, maybe back in about 3 to 4 weeks. I thought it was going to be March time. Be 3 to 4 weeks, sort of mid to late February, he'll be back, which is nice. We're waiting for a scan on, is it Basuma? I think we're waiting for a scan on the results. Solanke's actually out longer than we think. Solanke's apparently back in March. So he's not going to be back for that February game, which we were told. And obviously got it wrong. He's going to be back in March. Johnson, I don't know when he's back, to be fair. Werner, I think, will be back towards the end of next month as well. Morning, Jazz, Steve, Jake, how are we all? So, look, not great news injury-wise. Obviously, Pape getting injured with a calf issue. Not great. Not great. I think we have 13 fit first-team players for this game today. 13, which is alarming. I mean, you've not even got you've not got your number one keeper. You've not got your number two keeper either as well. So we factored that into the situation. So look, let's talk about the game tonight really quickly before we jump into transfers and this damning report surrounding medical side of things. The game tonight is not for the faint-hearted. You've got to be a brave soldier, a brave soul to watch that game tonight, because that game tonight, it could be ugly. And what I don't mean is Hoffenheim are the world's greatest team. They're going to slap us 7-0. We're in trouble, blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying that. I'm saying looking at the situation now, it's actually worse now than it was probably a couple of weeks ago. And we thought it was bad. It's that meme of Mick McCarthy going, and they're talking a question. It's like, can it get any worse? He says, it can. And it has. It has gotten worse. Obviously, yes, Bentancur supposedly is back. We'll see about that. Romero's back, obviously, next week. So you're getting those two guys, and maybe Mickey at the end of the week next week, maybe. But in reality, that doesn't fix our situation. Tonight might be one of those games where you're just going to have to be able to get through it. You're just going to have to get through. That's my general views about this game. I was a little bit more positive probably a couple of days ago when I did the preview for the game. But now I'm sitting here going, just get through it. Just get through it. It's not going to be an easy one. It's going to be a difficult one. It's going to be, I think it could be ugly. If you are getting through it 2-1 or 1-0, or it is a draw, let's have a look at the Europa League fixtures, because obviously we're getting to the point in the Europa League now that next game, that is the final game of the league phase. I'm going to call it, it's not a group, I'm going to call it league phase, all right? So right now, Spurs are level with Rangers, who play Man United away. So, Man United are also in the top 8. So one of them is going to drop points, if not both of them, which we can hold on to that. If Rangers were to lose and us to draw, we'd leap above them, okay? Actually, if they were to lose and we were to lose, But if they lost heavily and we lost by 1, we'd leap above them, which is the irony of it all, right? You can lose and somehow go up a place. Let's have a look at the fixtures though, because I want to see what we've got. So, actually, it'd probably be a good start, right, to see who's the top 8. So we've got Lazio, Bilbao lost against Besiktas, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first game, winning 4-1, which Besiktas really needed, by the way, because they were struggling in this group phase. I think they actually were outside of the top 24, which says a lot. But Athletic Bilbao have lost. They're 5 points clear of us. Obviously, Man United and Rangers play against each other. Galatasaray have played 7 games as well. If Spurs are to win, they'd go above Galatasaray. You've got Anderlecht, Lyon, Lazio, and Eintracht Frankfurt. So let's have a quick look. Who's got what? Right. Frankfurt. Who have Frankfurt got? Well, Lazio play at home to Real Sociedad. That's not an easy one. Frankfurt have got Frank Varas at home. They should win that. Any other teams? Lyon away to Fenerbahce. That's not a gimme. I can't remember who the other team was, and I don't really care now. So look, there's a lot of teams above us that have got some difficult fixtures. We could take advantage, and it's the irony. If you were to win today, I'm not saying you will or won't. We're talking hypothetical. If you were to win today, and a couple of results maybe go your way, Spurs could be like 4th in the Europa League, and then everyone sort of looks at it and goes, well, "Okay, well the league phase is going all right in the Europa League. I mean, the league phase in the Premier League is going a bit crap, but you're 1 foot in the final of the EFL Cup, depending on how that next game goes. You're still in the FA Cup, and you're doing all right in the Europa League. You start to go, so why is it those 3 competitions are going all right? This other one's not going very well, and it's it's the questionable idea of it all. Roberto, Steve, how are we both? Jimi Hendrix. He's so good, they name him twice. Reckons 5-2. Marshall, how are you? Dean, how are you, mate? Look, I'm going to come to my team in a minute. But look, it's going to be one of those you're going to have to want to scrap tonight. Now, there is a fatigue issue. There is a fatigue issue. We can all agree. So let's not go out there and go, right, we're going to run these players further into the grounds. Put them on the bench. If it's 1-1 and you think, oh, bring them on, we've got a bit of an impact sub there. Let me see a bit of Mikey Moore. Let me see. Just trying to think of who else there is. I don't think Lancashire is going to start. I think it'll be Richarlison. I don't think there's any other youngster that I can say is going to play today, Hope for the best, expecting the worst. Don't expect the worst. Expecting the worst. I hate that idea. Hope for the best, though. I like that. More tonight. I don't know if look, let's just focus on the guys, youngsters that have played at least a little bit. Can Richie play 2 games in 3 days without breaking something? Well, if Richie can't play a few minutes at the weekend and then 60 minutes in the week, then sell him. Say, look, even if he's like, I don't want to leave it, go, yeah, but at the same time, mate, you're never playing, you're never fit. So Galatasaray Coventry scrap. That's not that kind of scrap. Morning, I don't say how you, mate. We need starting players. Yeah, we're going to come to that in a minute. Lancashire will have to play some tonight. I agree, Roberto. Lancashire will have to play minutes tonight. And I think he'll have to have a good showing as well. I think he will have to play because I don't want, even if it's not going well, I do not want Richarlison playing 90 minutes tonight. I don't. You can still get through the Europa League even if losing this game. Okay, now it's obviously not ideal. If you were to win this game, you sit there and go, hell, I think a draw against Elfsborg would be enough. Now, if you get a draw here and maybe beat Elfsborg, that probably might be enough as well. Like I said, if Man United and Rangers are playing one another, Bilbao and Galatasaray have both played already, you could be sitting in a spot that, okay, maybe there's a few teams below you that win. You are sitting in a spot where you go, there's still a really good chance you go through with, because you should beat Elfsborg next week. Fit, fatigue, or not. It's no offense to Elfsborg. It's Elfsborg, There should be no excuses for a game like that. Like I gave no excuses for Tamworth. You shouldn't be giving excuses for those sort of games. But look, win tonight, get through it somehow. Hopefully get some of those players that maybe haven't played recently many minutes. Hopefully they'll have to play minutes. There's going to be a few players out there tonight who are going to have to play some serious minutes, and I'm worried for them. I'm worried for keeping them fit and keeping them without fatigue. You've got to factor in they've had to fly. They've flown to Germany and fly. They're going to fly back late tonight. These players are going to be shattered for Leicester at the weekend. They will be. They will be. My only concern for Lancashire and the reason for him not getting more minutes is he can get rattled due to experience, and that is the only reason holding him back. Well, look, yeah, he got rattled at Galatasaray, and he got sending off, and he got stupid sending off, and he had a massive reason as to why we didn't get anything out of that game, because with 10 men, when we brought the big boys on, we were much better than them. Can you imagine having an extra player on the pitch, So he would have to earn the trust back from Ange, and I think that's more than deserving. If you get sent, it's like we said with Basuma, earn your trust back. I don't care if you're 18 or you're 38, you earn it back. You earn back that trust because you clearly had screwed that trust up. And I think he's a good player, Lancashire. And I know people go, he's only young, let him off. I totally get that. But you still have to earn it back. If you make a mistake at work, even if it's like the first week in, you feel like you have to make that up. It's the same with anything. I don't care your age. I think he will. I have faith in him. Athan Cozy, how are you, mate? We got rattled on pre-season against Munich as well. Well, Kingsley Coman got rattled as well. So you can say both of them did. Who doesn't get rattled playing in hell? Our players must get rattled every week then. Anyway, let's jump in. Let's talk about some other stuff. So I've mentioned Desi Doggy. That's fine. Ange in the press conference yesterday, and he was asked about the possibility of Spurs signing nobody this month now. He said, yeah, potentially the club's working hard to get some help for the players. As far as I'm aware, there's nothing imminent, but in the last week of the window, things happen quickly. And I saw a lot of people get riled by this in terms of Ange is a puppet, Ange is this, Ange is that. What do you want him to say? Do you want him to sit there and go, rubbish, you should be attacking Levy. If he attacks Levy, he's getting sacked. He doesn't want to get sacked. Think about it. Come on. Stop thinking with this for a second. Think of this, right? He's obviously not going to go on the attack. Then he's definitely going to get those signings. He obviously is self-aware. The players are self-aware. The fans are self-aware that the higher-ups have failed this window so far. They have. I don't care if you're pro-Levy. You even can sense it going, we're 3 weeks. We're quite far into this window now. He's signed one guy. Other teams are really trying to make moves. You're Forest that are trying to break their transfer record. Forest, FFP issue Forest. West Ham are bidding 60 million for John Duran. Man City going to spend about 200 million potentially this window. How there's apparently reports that Man United can spend, and Man United have got even more. Man United have got debt like us. They've got a falling down stadium. They've got wages that are, hundreds of millions of pounds more than us. Supposedly can still spend money this window, even though we're told they had to sell before they could buy. Teams in Italy, where there's no money in Italian TV rights, they're spending money. They're active. Juve have been making moves on moves. Roma are making moves. AC Milan are making moves. So I don't want to hear that we can't make moves and there's money issues. I think that's absolute rubbish. He has to say that. I think he's not impressed with it. He's a guy that always likes to get his business done early, and for the most part, at other clubs they do, but at Spurs we don't. We like to win the negotiations. That's always been our thing. We'll take an extra 2 months to squeeze you down an extra couple of million, and so we can win the negotiation. Like David Ornstein says, there is no FFP issues. There's none at Spurs. Spurs have got a huge huge amount of space between FFP issues and where they are. So, Man United, they do. It's going to be uncomfortable after the window if we don't sign it. The home games will be a hostile environment for Levy. I don't think it will be. There's quite a few pro-Levy fans in the stadiums, unfortunately. Just so I've missed. Not too much in the stones. We've only just been talking about the game tonight. Will Bentancur start today? I think he'll have to. Sandesh. The fact that Levy won't open his wallet is Ange's fault. Yeah. Levy's ownership for the last 2 decades, that's Ange's fault. Win the battle, lose the war. We ain't winning no battle, and we are certainly losing the war. Spurs have a hotel to build. Absolutely. And don't get me wrong, they've got to keep maintaining the underground go-kart thing, whatever it is. So look, there's what he said. And then, Paul O'Keefe, there were people always asking, Paul, we're signing on. Paul, we're doing this. Paul, we're doing that. But Pillar keeps saying that Destiny Dougie can be back in just over 3 weeks' time. So he would have been actually ahead of schedule, most likely. He was estimated up to 10 weeks out. It'll be 7 weeks, which fair play. That's good. That's a good recovery. And then someone asked him, like they always do, any names in the works or sign-ins? And he went, nothing imminent. And then someone asked him, do you think Levy's conflicted? As in paying out for a player who might not be playing under the same manager much longer. The new manager might not like the players, etc., meaning wasting money. Levy's kryptonite. And Paul just said it's just more excuses. And I'll rate Paul, actually, Paul O'Keefe. I like him. He's quite funny on Twitter. I like his back and forth with people. But he's really, I mean, Alistair Gold has been verbal about how Spurs have failed this window. Paul O'Keefe's been on the forefront saying that Spurs have failed, Spurs have done this, that, and the other. And actually, I think a lot of people that, think, these people are all pro-Levy, a lot of them have been quite disparaging with things that they've said this window. And it's evident. It's really evident. Ange is blamed for everything. Oh, it always is. When Destiny's back, Porro should get a few games off to recover and reset himself. Yeah, I agree. Porro's played the most minutes of all of our players this season. He needs to have at least a week off. Even when it's Europa League, it's like, mate, you're not going to play in the Europa League. You're going to play at the weekend. You're playing that Sunday and you'll play that Sunday. Or it's like, mate, you're going to play that game. You're going to play the Europa League. We're going to give you that weekend off and you'll be back in a week time after that. Spencer's going to play. I'd be like, fully on board with that. I read between the lines that Sar's been playing with a bit of a knock, but couldn't do it anymore, which I'll give a pass now. I don't know. We don't know these sort of things, but look, there's that. Now, let's talk about some of the injuries because this is hilarious. To give you an idea, is Spurs are without, is it 12 or 13 players tonight? First team senior players. Bonkers, isn't it? Let's talk about this medical report the Athletic have come out with, saying Jeff Scott, who's the former head of medicine and sports science, left Spurs after clashing with Postecoglou. Although the club insists that Scott's departure did not involve Ange, sources with knowledge of the situation who asked to remain anonymous to protect relationships say the pair fell out over how to manage the first team's squad workload and the recovery of injured players. Well, all I say is we had a first team player who's not been injured this season saying we train once between games. Once. We're in gym. We're doing recovery. We get a day off after games. And then obviously you think that and you go, hang on a second. So if only playing they've only got one bit of training on the field between games. Something's not right there. And it's funny how that came out from Pedro Porro, and then lo and behold, this came out the day after. And all it is these people are trying to save face. That's what it is. Blame deflectors. The people that you hate to work with. These are the sort of people you do not want to work with in a company. They can never accept a bit of fault. It's evidently you're part of the fault, right? I'm not saying it's all his fault. I'm not saying it's all Ange's fault. I'm not saying it's anyone's fault entirely. They all have a hand to play in this, right? But he has a hand to play and he's deflected. No, not my problem. If Ange had listened to me, we'd have more players back fit. Okay, bud. Yeah. I would never want to work with a person like that. Never. It's like being back at school and having a school report to work with 3 or 4 people, right? 3 or 4 people. Right, you're going to do that bit. You're going to do that bit. You'll do that bit, and I'll do the start and end, right? We're all got, yeah, you're doing paragraph 1, 2, 3. I'll do start and end. Everyone good with that? Cool. Well, let's get to it. You then formulate it all together. You hand it in. Your teacher goes, who did paragraph 2? I'll go, that was him. So I did the start and end. You were paragraph 1. You were paragraph 3. He's paragraph 2. He went, well, paragraph 2 was really bad. Like, you guys were like an A star between you 3. His is a D, so it's brought your score down to like a C+. You're going, oh, okay, well, so that was him. He'll go, no, it wasn't. No. Blame deflectors. Worst humans. The worst human when it comes to work, So I think he is trying to save his backside with that, to be honest. I don't think he's completely in the wrong. They said we told them a source from this situation who asked to remain anonymous to protect relationships said the medical staff had reservations about Mickey van der Ven's readiness to play versus Chelsea. But nevertheless, he started the match. The club insisted he was ready, but the plan was to only play him for 60 minutes. Okay, so you have reservations about him playing versus Chelsea, but he can play 60 minutes. So which one is it? Reservations or he can play? There is nothing in between. It's like a yes or no answer. It's either he's not ready to play, we have reservations, he don't play him, or yeah, he can play, but he can only play 60 minutes. Okay, there's a difference between those two things. It's one or the other, right? So that's, for me, a guy that's trying to save face again. And it might not be Jeff, and it might be someone else in and involved in and around the medical situation. They're trying to save face because they've been getting verbally kicked the crap out of because they've been, let's be real. Let's be totally real. Everyone involved in these things are all at fault. And the medical team have to hold some blame, and they don't want to. I don't want to. Oh, no, don't blame me because it's not my fault. Yes, lad, it is. You're at fault. Just like Ange is at fault, other coaches are at fault. The player himself could be at fault. Obviously, the player himself, it's more of a, I want to play. I'm a footballer, I want to play. He sometimes doesn't know any better. But you have to hold some blame. Your job is to protect our players. So you have to hold some blame. And I can't wait for someone in the comments to be like, yeah, but Ange has to hold more blame. It's like, oh, great. We're doing a pie chart of who's most at blame. We're going to put 25% to the medical team, 75% to Ange. That's what it'll be. I can't wait for those comments afterwards. Everyone knew Doggy and Solanke were in a dire situation. A lack of reinforcements, absolute disgrace. I blame Levy for this. I've stopped taking people seriously when they call out sources like O'Keefe for being pro-Levy. They clearly aren't. Oh, yeah, Paul's really not pro-Levy. He really isn't. Of all of them, he's the most anti-Levy, I'd say. We'll be fine as long as we play back three. Man United buy left back. Yeah, Man United are active. They're buying left backs. I've got a report talking about Patrick Dorgu in a second. All top teams press high, but the recovery Spencer, Ricardo, and Ange is just to my next level. Yeah, but the thing is, like, I get this. It's like you can't win playing Ange ball. It's like, okay, so Man City can't win playing Man City ball, and Klopp can't win in Klopp ball. And Amorim can't win with Amorim ball, but he was really good at Sporting. And Luis Enrique can't win at Barcelona. It's like, I don't get it. They all play a very, very similar style of football. I'm not saying it's exactly the same. Before someone goes, actually, Andy, someone's right back does this. I'm like, I don't care. Shut up. They all play a very similar brand. What those clubs had was the ability to rotate their players. Spurs don't. And that's the crux of the issues. It's not the system, it's the ability to rotate. Now, and people will go, yeah, well, he had Spence, he could have rotated. He's like, well, he didn't trust Spence. And a lot of these players that we talk about, I mean, the fact that people say rotate Reguilon in, you're just as much of a problem in terms of this club as anything else. Because if that's what we have as rotational options, let's just give up shop. Like, you know what I mean? He's not. He shouldn't be at the club. Full stop. No, if you have a problem with Timo Werner, you should have a problem with Sergio Reguilon. If you have a problem with Brennan Johnson, you have to have a problem with Sergio Reguilon. If you have a problem with Basuma, you must have a problem with Sergio Reguilon. And I don't see enough people talking about it. No, I'm saying we should probably move on from Basuma this summer. Basuma's much better and more usable than Reguilon is. And you'll get people going, actually, I actually prefer Reguilon. It's like, okay, cool. All right. But how long have our medical team been shy? Not just this season, exactly. And we replaced them and they weren't good enough then. I don't believe injuries is down to training, but the players train for longer and more intensely under Conte. Yeah, they did. I mean, do you remember pre-season? Conte had them thrown up on the pitch, dying of exhaustion. It is that. Should be 75% medical scheme. Most of them aren't experienced in their field. So Levy fought for, it's probably cheap options. Mickey got injured on the 70th. I think Mickey was in it 76th, wasn't it? Ange did admit he kept them on longer than advised. Yeah, but also we were down Romero by that point. Had Romero not injured, he probably would have come off on the 60th minute. But he had to play on because, well, we had no one else, So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But look, other than that, blame deflectors, I really have a problem with in real life. Like, I really dislike it. It's like going out with your mates and I'll say, God, did you book that table? Oh, no, I didn't. Well, that was your job. No, it wasn't. It was, I thought you said to him. Just take the blame and just say you're wrong and say sorry. You know, I agree on Bazuma. I also want Madison gone too. Oh, that's a bit bold. Trust has to be earned, granted, and should have given a chance to Spence, but who to say he wouldn't have used him at some point? I mean, look, again, we as a fan base are very reactionary. Very reactionary. Like I said about Reguilon right now. Well, he's left back, play him. Mate, I'd rather like Pape Matar at left back. You know, the thing with Reguilon is because he plays in that position, you should play him. If he's not good enough, then don't play him. The reason he's still in this squad is because no team could take him on this summer. That's it. That's the crux of it. If we could have moved him and a club would have taken him, he wanted that move, he'd have been gone. He didn't want to leave because he didn't like the moves that was offer. So that's crucially the issue. I don't think he's a bad player. He's not up to the level of what we should be looking and striving for. You know? Why do you want Madison gone? I don't know why Steve wants Madison gone. Problem is we have so little depth. I wouldn't sell anyone bar Reguilon until we get more. Yeah, we need players in. We need players in. That's what I mean. Can Ange stay in our club for a longer period of time? Don't get me wrong, I love him, but I personally don't think he can unless he wins a trophy or finishes the league in a decent position. Well, it's a rebuild, but I get what you're saying, Sandesh. He would the league form has to improve. Has to improve. And you would say one of those cup competitions he's got to do really well in. Yeah, I'd agree. To play that way, we need players on the bench that are similar level to the lads that are playing. Agreed. After the season, I'd be thinking about getting rid of Bentancur, regrettably, even with Basuma. Apparently, there's chatter online about a new contract for Bentancur. Don't think he's deserved it. Let's see how he does for the next few months, and then let's look at it towards the spring, summertime. The guy's played no football really in the last 2 years. Don't reward things like that. If you reward things like that, we are so Man United, it's scary. Man United do this all the time. Do you know why? Because it's cheaper to give a guy a new contract than it is to buy a new player. Man United do it all the time and did it all the time. Spurs do it, are trying to do it potentially the same as well. Bentancur should be only rewarded a new contract if he stays fit to the end of the season. Same with Richarlison. Keep him on if he stays fit to the end of the season. Forget sentiment. This is a football club. Results are more important than sentiment. You know? And that's why, look, if Ange was to have a stinker, you know, we don't get through the Europa League, maybe go out in the EFL Cup, league form doesn't improve, he's gone. He is gone. Simple as that. Whether you like him or not, whether you're an Australian or not. The money we pay for Yang, Odegaard, and Johnson could have been used for one quality winger. Now we need to do Tarsa wing as well. Odegaard, we were all excited by him. He does look a good player. He just got an injury. Yang, let's just see how we go, Yang, all right? Let's give him a chance. If we get Dorgu in January, Reggie is got, if we got Dorgu, oh my God, scenes. If only we had pre-ACL Bentancur, player and a half, mate. Bentancur will be very good, but it's very fortunate injuries. Basuma is poor. Well, Basuma hasn't fully been poor. He's had good moments. And that our issue isn't the ability that he has. The issue that we have is he isn't doing it consistently enough. And that's why he'll probably be gone in the summer. Watch how Maddison, when he rolls around on the ground, takes forever to take a free kick, a corner, so arguing the ref, it's his signal to the rest team I've stopped. I don't think so. I personally think Basuma playing less games, just like Sonny, it would work. Well, Basuma is in his late 20s. It's what, 29? He'll get ruled because it's cheap. You took the words right out of my mouth. I got you there, Dean. Madison's not a fighter. He was poor when Leicester got relegated. Thomas, how are you? This one good game of 7. I'd say it's like 2 or 3 in 7. There's a serious lack of leaders in the squad. Madders, I think, isn't a proper vice captain at times. He's great when it's going well, but not so much when it's going bad. Romero's a proper captain. Well, let's see. Let's see on that side of things. Yeah, Dorgu flavour news because it's a good segue. Man United will sign a new left back. No doubts. Talks for Dorgu continue after €27 million bid rejected. Lecce insist on a €40 million fee as they're aware of Napoli's interest for him as well. Look, I know Napoli have sold Kvara, right? It was like 70 odd, I think it was just over 70 million euros. They want to sign Garnacho. They're linked with someone else. I can't remember who it was. Who was it? It was linked with someone. There was another winger sort of linked to. I can't remember. It's not off the top of my head. Someone will tell me in the chat potentially. They want to sign Garnacho, is going to be about 50 odd million pounds. They want to sign Dorgu, who's going to cost 90 million. So both of them between them 90 million. They'll probably look to sign maybe one more. Napoli will probably get to a net spend of about 110, 115 million. Adeyemi. Thank you, Eric. Adeyemi, that was it. He's not cheap either, and there's no money in Syria because there's this when it comes to Spurs. The Deloitte Football Money League report put out revenues of most of the clubs and how they're doing. I mean, this is mental. Notable lines: Chelsea's wage bill was down to only 333.5 million, including Poch payoff, on turnovers of 464, largely due to revenue loss of Champions League. Operating loss of 250 million for 2023. Chelsea are not paying 60k per week average wages, but can still spend loads of money. Liverpool's wage bill was up to 382 million, in line with revenue over 600 million for the first time, despite no Champions League in the season. Wages maintaining a 63% ratio. Arsenal's wage bill up massively, 39% to 323 million, up from 235 million, in line with revenue over 600 million for the first time, despite wages of 53% of revenue. A very impressive stat confirming loads of PSR capacity. Spurs' wage bill was down to 42% of revenue at 220 million, despite higher commercial revenue than either Chelsea or Arsenal. This is a good one. So Aston Villa, active this window, right? Really active in the summer, signed loads of players in the summer, right? Listen to this. Villa's wage bill was as expected, an astonishing 96% of revenue at 252 million, struggling to combine Champions League qualification bonuses with non-Champions League revenue of 265. Newcastle's wage bill was 215 million on revenue of 316. So there's about £100 million difference between the two. Spurs' revenue, what, £400 million difference? No, okay, maybe Newcastle aren't big spenders at the moment. I might give you that one. Can you explain to me how Villa are spending money and we're not? If this doesn't show you there's a serious issue at Spurs at the moment, I can never, ever explain it in better detail. There's facts and figures to show you while everyone is increasing their wage bills, we're trimming ours. And then people go, but why are we falling in the league? Sorry, do you want me to go through our stats again? If you're going to cut costs and remove players, now some of them needed to go, I totally agree. But you are also then not replacing players. You see an issue there. You do see an issue there, right? And I hope you do. Good, loving the show. Appreciate it. Just want to know what went wrong with Biss. Do you know what, mate? I just don't know. Because you're right, he was unplayable. His first 10 games, he was mega. Just don't know what happens. Just want to say this show's a breath of fresh air. Appreciate it, Matt. Matt, that Spurs kit. That Spurs kit. What a kit that is. So I'm just having a look at his profile. That's a lovely kit. Takes me back to happier times, Matt. Do you think they're not giving Ange any players because if we lose our next three, Ange is gone? Well, people keep talking about this, right? Doing that, right, is the saying, if you've never heard it, it's cutting your nose off to spite your face. The reason is sacking Ange costs money, right? Sacking a manager costs money. We get that. So that hits your wage revenue. That hits your revenue. Not backing the manager this month and saying, well, look, let's say Liverpool knock us out of the FL Cup. Well, there you go. We're out of the FL Cup. Let's say Europa League doesn't go very well and we don't even get into the knockouts potentially. And let's say Villa knock us out of the FA Cup. You not spending money actually hurts you so much more that following season because you've got no European football. Had you brought in maybe a couple of players by this point, Kinski, and let's say Kinski and a defender, I'm not even saying he needs to bring in like 8 players, just 2 players. I guarantee you, not every one of those results would have been the exact same. And maybe, just maybe beat Liverpool 2-0. Maybe that Newcastle game, which we were robbed, maybe that's a 2-2 draw. Maybe those games that you've lost, maybe they just become like draws. And therefore, your points are better off. You're higher up in the league, which gives you more money as well. And maybe you're doing even better in those cup competitions. Because it's not only just that, it's like Tamworth going extra time. Maybe you don't get extra time and you get more rest. And then maybe because you've got more defenders, you've got more options then in the midfield, and because of it, maybe beat Arsenal. You know? So let's say extremely strong positive correlation to club wages and club success. Mate, club success, club wages. They are a parallel thing. The more money you put in, the more money you get out normally, right? Now, there are some wages that are crap, and, Man United know that firsthand, like Alexis Sanchez. That was a, awful wage. But you attract better players with better wages, Dorgales Nene is another left-wing player linked with Man United. He plays for Salzburg. There you go. Love that kit. Matt, happy at times, wasn't it? I see a deadline deal for Rashford. You do. Peter. That's bad. That's a bad Peter. I'm not having that. But Andy, the other hypothetical is that you changing the manager have presented those results you mentioned. Yeah, but when you are going through a rebuild, you have to be aware that things aren't going to go well at times. And I also think Daniel Levy's aware that, we sold the best player that we've had in decades and then didn't buy a striker to replace him. We then get rid of loads of players and reduce our wage bill, but still expect the same results. You see there's an issue there, And also, I truly believe this. No manager is going to get the results that you think we deserve with 13 players out. Okay, well, Andy, I don't think we'd have 13 players out with another manager. Well, we'd certainly have a few, wouldn't we? Because you know why? When you're playing 3 games a week and you've not brought in enough players to rotate, those players are going to break down and get injured, regardless of the manager. Your manager could be Jesus Christ himself. They'll still break down when they're getting injured, Andy, you can't use Discord link. Oh, I'll post it in here, Steve. Sorry about that. Yeah, the Discord link's crap. I probably need to get rid of it out of my bio. But yeah, Discord, if you want to join, come jump in here. It's all free. And we can all see that. Why can the people in charge see this? We need players like yesterday. Oh, something smells so off about talking about new investment cash flow costs, cutting wages, not buying players. And I still believe if something wasn't happening, Levy would have already gotten rid of Ange. Also, spending to sack Ange is stupid. Don't back him so he's more likely to get sacked, or back him so he can stay and not cost the club a payoff. Any signing news? None, mate. I don't think Ange would like Rashford. He doesn't. I don't think Ange is a player for him. I think he's a player for him. My favourite was the away purple Holson. Oh, filthy. Levy Formula 1 team. Vettel and Alonso are Lewis's cheapest drivers in the field. I think the cheapest drivers would be like me. Get me in there, Buzzing to see Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari, though. I can't wait for the season. An annoyed Lewis Hamilton with a team that F1's better when Ferrari are good. That's factual, right? An annoyed Lewis Hamilton with maybe a reviving Ferrari team. That is what F1 wants. They want that. And I'm looking forward to it. This might be one of Lewis's last ever great seasons, potentially. We need it just for the vibes, just for Verstappen, because I'm done with Verstappen, and his. I mean, George Russell biting back against him. I was like, hello, go on, Georgie, go on, son. And actually, I think ironically, Lewis has aged with maturity better than Verstappen. I think a lot of people have turned on Verstappen due to his antics. And actually looked at it and gone, God, Lewis is actually right about more than I realised, Andy, do you think people have forgotten what a rebuild is supposed to look like because previous managers said it's a rebuild with the best striker in our history at the front. I think they do. I think people also overrate and overestimate what Spurs. I think a lot of people think we should be fighting for the title, which is crazy. I'm worried about the Levy worshippers. I take it that they're happy. I take it that they're happy the mess we're in and the lack of action in the chance window. Get a lot of people back him. Let's go. I'm actually on time for once. Petrossi, how are you, my friend? Still can't believe Werner's. Oh, he has more than that than Kulu. Mental, in it. Problem is, Levy, now we might not even sign any players. I don't want Vlahovic. I'd rather Jonathan David right now. Jonathan David has had success in the last couple of years. And I watched him for Lille. And Lille, do you know what? Lille played some nice football. I enjoyed watching Lille Liverpool. It was a good game. Someone needs to take out Verstappen. Tasty thought, but the CEO, manager of this Levy man. Remember we added Decky and Benzco and Conte in January, and it was the difference maker for us in terms of top four. Finish signing always makes difference, but for Levy, it's a big no-no. Hashtag Levy out. Could you have a look at this? This is the doctor of Tottenham under Pochettino and Celtic under Ange. She discusses why depth is important in Ange's system. David, I probably don't even need to look at it. I could probably tell you why. You know, you are playing in the most demanding league in all of football. You're playing, 4 games in 12 days quite frequently. You need the ability to be able to rotate and move players around. But when we've consistently always got 3 or 4 small little injuries, it puts then pressure on those players who need to be rotated to play more. I mean, people talk about Heung-Min Son being finished. I'm like, tell you what, if Son could get 1 game a week, I tell you what, one game a week, Sonny for 90 minutes is still an absolute player. Is he? Last season, go have a look. Go have a look, you know what I mean? 27 goal contributions at the age of 31. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. I think it was the same amount as Salah, wasn't it, last year? I think it was the same amount as Salah. So, Sonny with a week off, playing once a week, give me it. Still a player there. Could you imagine how good Kulusevski's playing 1 a week? You think he's good now? Imagine Kulusevski playing 1 a week, or the occasional 2 a week instead of playing 3 a week. You know, Solanke the same. Can you imagine Desi Adoghi getting rotation? Pedro Porro, we've all been crying out for. We're like, Pedro's a good player, but he just needs to rotate. And obviously now Spence is here. We do have the ability to rotate, but we can't due to Desi Adoghi being injured. And we still need another left back. But they'll go, yeah, but you've got Mickey, you've got Ben Davies, you can do that. It's like, yeah, 2 very different players to Desi Adoghi. Even Terry, how are you, mate? Bro, you know Tottenham ain't getting nobody in. Son is having a terrible season. I mean, Son needs help, does he not? We got away with it last year as we only had 1 game last year with no cups. It's unsustainable this year. Yeah. We've seen it this season. He has class that nobody in our squad has, e.g. the cross against Villa for Johnson's goal was sensational. Ange is the first manager to not have Kane. How many times did Kane bail out other managers when the team was poor? Well, you had Mourinho that was 7th in the league with prime Heung-Min Son and prime Harry Kane. Conte had it. We lose, obviously, Harry. And people go, yeah, but Solanke's like not as good as Harry. It's like, yeah, because Harry Kane's the best striker in the world. There's kind of an issue. Nobody replaces him. He's the best striker in the world. Really rate Erling Haaland. Absolutely unreal finisher. But what Harry does for a team is leaps and bounds different to what Erling Haaland does for a team. Erling Haaland in our system wouldn't work. You know, that's what I'm saying. See Richard Ross score for Palmeiras. Nice. We need players big time, regardless of who the manager is, to justify Levy not signing players because we're not sure about Ange's madness. Levy's killing us on the pitch. Ben Score was very good under Conte. He was. And I really rate Ben Score. I still think Ben Score is probably our best midfielder. But my issue with Ben Score is you cannot reward a man with a new contract if he's never played in the last 2 years. And I get he's had big injuries. I absolutely get that. But he cannot be rewarded regardless of what you think he is. You know, it's like saying to Richarlison, no, let's keep Richie for next season. But he needs to show that he can stay fit. Because if he can't stay fit, then we're just carrying a body for the sake of carrying a body. Same with Ben Davies. Ben Davies, I don't think from now, Ben Davies is never, ever going to get any healthier, any fitter when it comes to injuries. This is probably the healthiest Mickey van der Ven may ever be, and he misses time every season. So then if you've got the guy behind him who misses time quite frequently every season, you are selling yourself short. Like Radu Dragoshin or not, Love him or hate him, I don't care. At least the guy's somewhat fit. I don't think he's 100% fit either. I mean, he's probably not going to be fit tonight because he's got a gash on his eyebrow from the Everton game. But he's had the flu, he's had injuries, he still plays through it all. At least he's bloody there. It's more than I can say for some of our players, you know. I didn't think about Harry Kane. You were so right. That's not me. It wasn't me with Harry, was it? It was in a coma. They're the man. They're the man. Son is injured. How many drop points in the Premier League in last? If we 2-3 in last window, honestly, we've dropped points this window just from not having players in. I think we'd be about 4 to 6 points better off. You know, we have to be willing to get what we can for players, and if we need to take it, I think we're too worried about. Yeah, but if we wait like 3 weeks, we'll save $1 million on him. It's like, I mean, we'd be like earning like £10 million more from the higher up in the league we'd be though. So it's not really worth it, is it? Do you think Mike Tyson got injured because of Ange? Yeah, it's all Ange's fault. It's all Ange's fault. I mean, look, I slipped over walking the dog the other week. You can't really see it, but I cut my hand there, right? Ange's fault. You know, I stubbed my toe the other day. Ange's fault. Jesus Christ! If you think that, then I don't know what we should think about anymore. You know, I was at the gym today. My shoulders are really tired from working out my shoulders. Ange's fault. Ridiculous, isn't it? Ridiculous. Anyway, thanks very much for joining me this morning / into the afternoon. We may be back later if Chance News breaks. Let's be honest, it's not going to. But we're back tomorrow, if not maybe later today, to do the Hoffenheim review. Hopefully we win. Hopefully we're in a good mood. Hopefully we can just enjoy one night without Spurs ruining it for us. But let's see. All right. Enjoy the rest of your days, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your afternoons, mornings, evenings, wherever in the world. And I'll speak to you all really soon to hopefully speak in a good way about Spurs. Take care, everyone. Peace.